What's going on, guys? It's the Bigs Podcast, episode number 106. And today we're going to continue our positional rankings for 2024 and move to shortstop. With me tonight, as always, Jason Ashby from Denver, Colorado. Jason, how are you this evening?
Doing well, Joe. You know what's crazy is baseball, the regular season starts in a month. It is absolutely insane how fast time is flying by. But the Dodgers and Padres will start a series in Korea, kicking off the 2024 regular season. Uh, and it's right around the corner. So I'm excited. I'm ready for the bigs. I'm ready for a draft. Let's get this thing going.
We are within 1 month of the draft, gentlemen. It is coming quickly. We've got outfield and starting pitcher rankings coming as well. But tonight, our special guest coming with us audio only, Frank Bucco. Frank, how are you this evening, sir?
I'm wonderful, Joe. Jason, nice to be here with you boys. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Season's around the corner. It's about time. Football's over. Baseball takes the stage. Let's go.
Dude, damn right. Let's talk some shortstops today, boys. Now, I don't know about you guys. I didn't have too difficult a time filling up my 25. But I do certainly feel like there is a drop off at a certain point within this group that I only feel comfortable with somebody in my top about 15. Jason, where are you looking at in the macro level?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I can maybe stretch it to 16. But yeah, same thing. Like after that, it's like I'm hoping a prayer that these guys are gonna, will be okay. So again, a little top heavy. I think we've seen this a few for me in some of these positions where like the first 6, 7, 8, you know who they are. They can be in any order, but they're the same cast of characters. After that, good luck.
There is a big glom in the middle. Frank, how many of you feeling like you'd be comfortable with as your starting shortstop this year?
I'd say about 15. The
Yeah.
like the top 15. Yeah, I would be comfortable with. Everybody else after that is kind of like a wing and a prayer. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, let's see what he can do for me.
Yeah. Well, let's start right up at the top. And the interesting thing is that we do not all have the same gentleman at the top. I know Jason and I are probably sitting with Mookie Betts at number one.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Frank does not have it that way. Frank, I'll let you take the stage here and give the explanation as to why Bobby Witt is your number one shortstop overall.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, he's a lot younger than Mookie. Mookie doesn't play shortstop every day.
Mhm.
So that's also a factor. Um, you know, he's a young kid. He plays on a team where he's got something to he's got to prove a lot. He's going to have to carry that Kansas City team.
Mhm.
And you know, I think with his skill set, I mean, he's a 5-tool player. He steals bases, he homers, he hits for decent average. Um, you know, and I just like I say, I mean, him and Mookie Betts is like splitting hairs
Mhm.
almost. In terms of like the caliber player they are. Mookie's obviously older. And again, doesn't play shortstop every day, so that's the reason why, you know, um, I took Bobby Witt
Okay.
over Mookie
35
in
more
one spot.
steals out of Bobby Witt last year over Mookie Betts, but Mookie Betts had looks like 29 more runs scored. So you're just basically picking which categories you value more in a player. Like you said, Frank, it's splitting hairs. I just wanted to give you the opportunity there to discuss.
Yeah.
Now, Jason, do you have Bobby Witt at two?
I don't. I have him a little bit
Okay.
further down. I do
All
have him a
right.
little further down. Yeah.
Who's your number two then?
I have Corey Seager. Um, you know, health obviously is the biggest thing with him. If he can stay healthy, he's one of the best hitters on the planet. And even last year, only 119 games, but 33 homers, 96 RBIs, a 327 and a 390, like off the chart numbers. He just couldn't stay healthy once again. But when he's on the field, like it doesn't get much better than him.
Yeah, he missed a chunk of time for a hamstring injury. He's already going to miss time now with a hernia surgery that he just had. So I
Yeah.
happened to just bump him down a couple of notches because of that.
Yeah, that makes
But
sense.
I have Bobby Witt at 2. Again, like Frank said, it's splitting hairs there. So I'm certainly okay with him being 2. So that brings me to number 3. Frank, we'll start with you here. Who do you have at number 3?
I have Corey Seager at number 3.
Okay. And
I mean,
understandable.
yeah.
Yeah, understandable. You've got him at a spot that he's nobody's gonna argue that spot there. Now, Jason, who do you have at 3?
All right, I have Francisco Lindor at 3, and
Interesting.
yeah, I look, and I had this debate with another Mets buddy of mine. I don't know what he's done to make Met fans not appreciate him. I mean, he was a 30-30 guy last year, 98 RBIs, 108 runs scored. The average 254, not great, not awful. Like he's flashy on the defense. He has a smile that lights up, the entire city of New York. Like, I don't know what people want from Francisco Lindor that they're not already getting. It's not his fault that the rest of the team sucked last year, So, and he's only 30 years old. I don't see why he would be slowing down. He plays every single day. Yeah, I love Lindor.
Lindor, okay. So I have Lindor at 5, and the only reason I do is because the lineups that the other 2 guys play in are better than what the Mets are going to put out this year. If he were in a lineup like Texas with Corey Seager or my number 3, Trey Turner in Philly, I think I would probably put Lindor a bit higher, but I don't know what Trey Turner did last year to upset everyone, but he is being slept on a lot. And if he's going to exist in the second round of the bigs this year, oh, please let me get him. Please let me get him in the second round, because on a down year, he hit 26 bombs, 30 steals, 100 runs scored, and a better average than Lindor with a comparable on base percentage.
I think most of that came after the standing ovation, right?
I'm sure.
The brotherly love. Yeah.
I'm sure. And now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and see what Trey Turner can do in Philly in his second season.
His current Yahoo average pick is 14. So that would put him
back end of the first round.
Back end of
the first round. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, so I have Turner at 3. You Jason have Lindor at 3. Jason Frank has Seager at 3. I have Seager at 4.
And I have Turner.
Frank, who do you have Turner at 4? Frank, who do you have at 4?
I have Trey Turner at 4 as well.
Okay. And then that leaves the final of the first 5 guys to be your number 5. For me, it's Lindor. For Frank, I believe it'll be Lindor as well.
Yes.
Okay. And Jason?
Yes.
Bo Bichette.
Oh, Bo Bichette at 5. That's an interesting one.
Yeah. Again, health was a bit of a problem last year, but 20 homers, 73 RBIs. He cut down on his strikeouts, which is good. Hits the ball super hard. 306 with a 339 on base last year. And over the last 3 years, 298 with a 338. He's as steady as it gets.
He did have to have a really nice September and August in 2022 in order to get his numbers up. I don't know if that happened again this past year. I'd have to look into it. I've got him a little bit lower on the list, and I'm surprised you still haven't listed off Bobby Witt at this point.
He's next.
Because, okay, I was going to say, like, we're getting to a point where I'm like, Jason, you kind of have to have this guy somewhere.
Yeah, I have him at 6. I have him at 6. Just because, look, it's only been 2 years. 2 really good years. One really good year and 2, one okay year. I just need to see it again. Cut down on the strikeouts a little bit, and I'll be happy. But he's absolutely, next year he could be 1 or 2. Absolutely.
Frank, who do you have at number 6, sir?
Number 6, I have Ellie De La Cruz.
Ooh, you gotta love Ellie De La Cruz. I talked about him extensively in the Third Base Show. Just tell me what you love about this kid.
He's super young. He was a rookie last year, so of course the strikeout numbers are going to be high. But he's electric. He's on the field when he plays, like the guy is. I don't even know how tall he is, but he looks like he's like 6'8". But he runs like no other. He runs like a horse. It's ridiculous. Like he's just. it's these young players that are coming up now. You know, the Gunnar Hendersons, the Ellie De La Cruzes, the O'Neill Cruzes, uh, even like Matt McLean,
Mhm.
players like that, Jordan Lawler's. It's just, I don't know. It's exciting. It's exciting for the game, and he's exciting to watch. And I think he's only going to get better on a not so good Reds team. I mean, but they have a lot of young kids, and they have a lot of heart, and they play well together. And I think he's gonna do great things. I mean, I just going forward. So I mean, that's why I put him
At
over,
6.
at 6. Yeah,
Really high praise for Ellie De La Cruz from Frank at 6. Guys, I have the rookie of the year Gunnar Henderson at 6, and I don't know why we're kind of playing this game of anybody ahead of Gunnar, because 100 runs, 28 homers, 82 RBIs, and a decent batting average. Like, yeah, I'm taking that over a lot of these chances. I've got Bichette at 7, so I understand, Jason, you're nodding like that's where Gunnar is for you right there.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so we're splitting hairs between Bichette and Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah. I mean, Henderson's coming in with, I think there's an oblique injury happening there or something.
Mhm.
It doesn't seem to be too serious, but you never know this early in the spring. So that's a little bit of a red flag. But yeah, if he's on the field, he's absolutely one of the best in the business.
Frank, I see your next entry here, number 7, is in fact Bo Bichette.
yes.
You split the hair between Bo and Gunnar here at 7 and 8. How do you feel? What's the split hair for you as far as Bichette over Gunnar?
Experience.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's really it. I mean,
Mhm.
um, the Orioles and the Blue Jays are basically the same type of team. The lineups are very similar in terms of where players are and who's there. I mean, especially well, you know, um, it's again, it's just a matter of experience at that point because I mean, if I have to, sorry, my research is
He's
awful,
just as
but
no, I hear what you're saying. He's just as safe as you can get. Jason hit on it earlier. He's a
yeah.
safer option. You're not going to have the possible sophomore slump that comes with Gunnar Henderson this year, and
Hmm.
he puts up pretty traditional numbers. For me, it was 5 more steals. It was a bunch more walks for the for Gunnar
Right.
Henderson. I'll take that over Bo
And for
Bichette.
what
Okay.
it's worth, he also has third base eligibility. So there's a little bit of dual position there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that brings us through number 7. Jason, who do you have at 8?
8, and this is kind of the last of my top tier, if you will,
Hmm.
for the position. It's Xander Bogaerts, who ironically will not be playing shortstop this year, but obviously he still have the position eligible. Again, down year for the Padres, down year for Bogaerts last year, but he's still a quality hitter. 285, 350 is not a bad season. It's
Mm-hmm.
just it doesn't quite, the rest of his counting numbers doesn't really match up with the rest of the guys we talked about, but he's still a force to be reckoned with at shortstop.
If he had 2 more homers and 3 more steals, it would be a 2020 season. We'd be saying what a great season he had. So it was 19 and 19 this year, and he scored 85 runs, 31 doubles. I happen to really like it. The strikeout rate is pretty low. I happen to like it. I also have him in 8, so I'm pretty in lockstep with you there. I just don't have the split tier there. I have it back after Lindor, so I have 5 in my top tier, whereas you
Okay.
have 8.
Yep.
Frank, who do you have at
Yes.
8, my friend? You said it was Gunnar Henderson, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right. Let's move to number 9. Jason, who do you have at number 9?
This should be polarizing. I have Carlos Correa here.
What a bum.
Ooh. Wow, we
Look,
hit it.
yeah, look, I still believe in the guy. He's only 29 years old. Give me another full season and show me that he's past these injury issues. Uh, all reports are that he's ready to go. So I don't have a reason based on his track record. When he's healthy, he's one of the best hitters at this position. So if that's the case, I don't have a reason to knock him any further down behind the guys that are coming up. So I'm okay with him here. He starts off my next tier.
I can't do it, man. I can't go back to this well like this. It's been how many years since since he had a truly healthy season? I'm looking it up right now. But
Yeah.
he played 148 games in 2021. Hit 279, 26 homers, 92 RBIs. That was his last year in Houston. He balled out, got a contract, then balled out again, hit 291 with a 366 in 2022 with 22 homers. Opted out, got a new contract, and here we are.
Yeah, and look, he could certainly look. I could be wrong. He could certainly tumble down these rankings next year, but this year, going into this year, I still have faith in him. I still believe that he can provide something of use at the shortstop position. Look, and his ADP right now in Yahoo is 204. So
yeah, I would take him there as a backup shortstop.
Yeah, so that's not really a high draft pick. Obviously it's not. In the bigs it might be a little bit sooner than that, but like I'd be okay. 9th or 10th round for him.
This sounds to me like Jason's gonna own Carlos Correa this year because I'm not seeing it. I have him at 19. Frank, where do you have Carlos Correa, Frank?
A fucking 100. No, yeah, I enjoy that. Enjoy that. Just enjoy that. I don't. There's no other words. There's no other words for how awful he is and how much I really don't like him. And
Carlos Correa or Javi Baez?
Javi Baez all day, every day.
Wow.
I'll take El Mago over Carlos Correa.
That is
the guy went on the 60-day IL for a back massage. Enough said.
He did. It happened.
Moving along.
He is pretty fragile. Pretty fragile. My number 9 is Ellie De La Cruz. We already talked about him, and I've talked about him extensively. Let's move on to number 10. Jason, who do you have at 10?
I have Dansby Swanson here. I think he's a safe bet here at number 10. Not great, but again, 2280 RBIs, home runs, 244, 328 on base and average. It doesn't wow me, but it's good enough to be a safe option at shortstop.
Yeah, he's got a top 5 barrel percentage, and yeah, he had a 297 BABIP, which is a little bit high. So that means his batting average could even come down from the 244 it was. I don't like it. I've got him in the mid-teens. I'm not a huge fan.
I can understand
I'm sitting with Ha-Sung Kim at 10.
Okay.
Third base eligibility, second base eligibility, plus 38 steals, and a better batting average than Dansby Swanson, comparable home run totals, and more runs scored.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Frank, what do you got at 10?
My number 9? We never got my number 9.
Oh, well, who is your number 9 then, sir?
O'Neal Cruz.
Okay.
O'Neal Cruz.
Tell me about O'Neal Cruz.
O'Neal Cruz, I mean, it's unfortunate he broke his leg last year or whatever. Something happened to him. I mean, yeah, rookie strikeout numbers, obviously that's a given. But I think this kid hits for will hit for a ton of power, and he's going to be a bright spot in that Pirates lineup because besides Brian Reynolds, what else is there? And no, I'm not putting any respect on Brian Hayes' name because no. And I just, no. Jack Sawinski's not even a guy either. So, yeah, he's going to be like the Ellie De La Cruz across whatever river that is into Ohio, from Pittsburgh, whatever. I think. I could be wrong.
He's played 98 games at the major league level.
Yeah.
But
he's played 98 games at the major league level, and he's hit 19 home runs. That is to be commended. That is absolutely to be commended.
He's probably struck out 150
times. He has all the tools.
Times. Yeah.
I don't have him in my top 10. I've got him at 15, but I like the aggression on the young kids coming up, Frank. I'll say that much.
Yeah. I'm a fan.
All right.
Obviously.
Then who do you have at 10, sir?
I have Nico Horner at 10.
Okay.
Okay.
I had
Um,
Nico at 11. He had 43 steals, and other than Bobby Witt and C.J. Abrams, was top 5 at the position there with 43 steals, 98 runs scored, and only 86 strikeouts. He struck out only 12.1% of the time, which is really, really good. Love me some Nico Horner as well, Frank. I like the pick there.
yeah, he's walking, more than half of the time that he's striking out,
Yeah.
at least
Yeah.
last year.
Mhm.
49 walks to 83 strikeouts. I mean, the 43 stolen bases is nice. 68 RBIs, it's kind of expected out of a shortstop. Or,
Oh, yeah, and he's
I mean,
leading off for the team. He's not a power hitting
exactly.
shortstop. He's going to be setting the
He's not
table
Ronald Acuna.
for guys
Um,
like Swanson.
right. And 175 hits. I mean, 175 hits. Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
that, and I mean, he hit 283. You
Yep,
can't. That's good numbers for a shortstop eligible guy.
absolutely. Jason,
Hmm.
who do you have at 11?
I have Hassan Kim at 11.
Okay.
And yeah, I feel like each show I keep moving him up because we keep talking about him because we talked about him in second base and third base, and I keep loving him more and more. Even though again, I look back at the last 3 years, and overall the numbers don't look great, but they're getting better and better each year, and now he's their shortstop. So, going into a walk year, I'm expecting big things from Kim.
Yeah, they are trending in the right direction with Hassan Kim. Really, really important that we follow that. And I really want to see what he does in his walk year.
Yeah.
Frank, who do you have at 11, my friend?
I have C.J. Abrams at 11.
Again, going with the young generation of shortstops here instead of the old guard. I can respect it. 47 steals was second at the position behind Bobby Witt. 245 average is a little scary, but he didn't have the strikeout numbers that you'd expect from a young shortstop. 18 homers, certainly probably projecting in the same way. Where do you have him, Jason? Where do you have Abrams?
Yeah, I have Abrams down at 19.
Okay. I've got him a little bit lower than Frank at 14, but I certainly respect where he's got him. That might be one of those picks that we look back at the end of the year going, yeah, that's the dude that everybody should have been on.
Like
Because
if
if he goes 20 if he goes
if he's
25
leading
50,
off,
that'll be
yeah,
sick.
yeah.
Well, I mean, and he's playing for Washington. I mean,
Mhm.
it's again, somebody's got to step up and hit the ball there. I mean, it's not going
Mhm.
to be the Lane Thomas show every time they hit the field.
I just want him to walk a little bit more
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
only having a 300 on base percentage doesn't really do it for me. I just want to see him walk a little bit more to get on base for those steals, but I'm totally down for
Especially
what
if you're
we've got
leading
there.
off. Like,
I don't really like the 245 batting average, but
No, but that might improve. He earned it with a 248 expected, so it's not like he out hit himself. Um, all right, number 12 for me is going to be J.P. Crawford. Now I know what you're saying. What a boring pick that is. Dude had a 380 on base percentage because he had 94 walks and 35 doubles this year. That's more than enough to be a starting shortstop for me. I would be happy with him as my number 12. Frank, who you got at 12, sir?
I have Dansby Swanson at number 12, sir.
Okay. So we talked about Swanson and why he's where he is. Jason likes him still a little bit more than you and I do. I've got him at 13, so we're right
Yeah,
in the same area.
I have a grudge. He can stay there.
Yeah, I mean, he can stay down there. He can absolutely stay
Mm,
down there.
he could stay there.
Jason, who you got at 12?
I got Nico Horner here.
Okay. And then at 13 for you?
13, I have Willie Adames.
Okay. I've got him a
Um,
bit lower.
yeah, I can see that. And honestly, this is probably the last year that I'm gonna give him, before he starts really falling. But I like the power from the shortstop position. The 165 strikeouts is ugly. Um, Nothing really else about his game is really all that great. 29 doubles isn't terrible. Um, but it's the power from him that you don't get from a lot of these other guys down the list. So that's why he still kind of floats here, but he's on the bubble.
I wonder if the addition of Reese Hoskins and the emergence of Jackson Churio will extend this lineup a little bit and maybe less pressure will be taken on him. The thing is, yeah, the strikeouts are ugly. I don't necessarily need my power hitting shortstop to hit 217, with a 310 on base. I'm not thrilled with that. His expected batting average was a bit better in the 240s, so maybe that goes up because his BABIP was awful at 259. Like that is not good.
Yeah.
And maybe he has a bounce back year. Maybe he helps the Brewers get to the playoffs. I just don't see it. I've got him at 21. Frank, where do you have Willy Adames?
Willy Adames, I have him at 21.
Huh, right in lockstep with me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see. Where are we at? Number 13? Yeah, number 13. Frank, what do you have at 13, my friend?
I'm actually going to be switching I'm going to be flip-flopping 2 players right now.
Okay.
I'm going to actually put Hassan Kim at 13. I had
Mm-hmm.
Xander Bogaerts there, but now that he's not going to be playing shortstop, he kind of like falls down the list a little more.
Okay.
So yeah, Hassan Kim at 13. I know
Hassan
we
Kim
talked
at
about him
13.
already.
All right.
Yep.
I've got Dansby Swanson here at 13. Jason, what about you?
13 was Adames.
Adames. 14 for you then, sir.
14 is JP Crawford. And the one note I'll say about him also is last year he hit 19 home runs. 2 years combined before that he hit 15. So like I don't know what he figured out, but I don't know you know the metrics better than I do. If there's more lift in his swing or you know what his launch angle is, but something happened that he like found the power stroke in 2023. So and while maintaining that 380 on base. So that's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
If he can maintain that or even improve on that, yeah, this guy moves up.
Yeah, the 380 on base is absolutely disgusting. I love that. 94 walks to 125 strikeouts, only a 19.5% strikeout rate. Love it. Love it. It's wonderful. All right, that was what, 14 for you?
Yes.
All right. Frank, what do you have at 14, sir? Did we lose Frank?
No, I'm here.
Lost. Okay, Frank, what do you have at 14 for us, my friend?
I have Matt McLain at 14.
Okay, another young kid. I have him at 16, so we're not that far apart.
I have
Another
him at
young kid
15.
in Cincinnati. I just want to see the playing time, and maybe he'll be able to move up. But for whatever reason, he is just like shooting up the Yahoo rankings. What is his ADP right now, Jason? Pull that up for me.
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
Because that is just ridiculous.
We are at 49.
Okay. So Manny Machado is going at like 50 something. This dude is going at 49.
Right.
I can't do it. I can't pull the trigger on that.
After 89 games.
Yeah, like and 365 at bats, 23 doubles, 16 homers, 50 RBIs, 14 steals.
He had a nice little
115 strikeouts and 365.
Yeah, he had a nice little run where he struck out a bit. He did a whole bunch of really he outperformed his metrics really badly. Like he had a 385 BABIP. Again, I was just saying how terrible Willy Adames's was at 259. He had a 385. Everything was everything was falling. Every little duck was finding a pond to land in, and he was on base a ridiculous amount of time. I don't think he's going to be as good as these numbers because if you double this, he's 30-30? No, I don't think that's a case. He might push 20-20. That might be a nice little thing he does, but I'm not willing to bank on it when I don't know about playing time.
JP Crawford, who we just talked about, his average pick is 235.
Exactly. I'll take that guy in front of Matt McLain.
Yeah.
I will wait and take that guy in front of Matt McLain.
Yeah.
My number 14.
Don't they have Noel Van Marte there too?
Yeah, they've got that dude. They got Candelario. They got India. They got Encarnacion Strand. They got too many infielders.
Jonathan India.
Spencer Steer,
Jason's favorite player.
Yeah, they get too many. They get too many guys.
Yeah.
And I don't know who's going to get boxed out. My 14 and 15 we both talked about in C.J. Abrams and O'Neal Cruz. So, Jason, who do you have at 15?
McLain.
Okay. And Frank, 15?
Xander Bogaerts. I flip-flopped him and Hassan Kim.
Yeah, we're all sort of around the same area here with a lot of these guys. And I think that's where a tier ends for me is right here at O'Neal Cruz at 15.
Same.
Yeah, same. I have O'Neal Cruz at 16, and that's where my tier ends.
Yeah. So my next tier starts with Matt McLain at 16. Year 16 was O'Neal Cruz?
Yeah.
Okay. Frank, who do you have at 16?
Anthony Volpe.
new guy we're going to talk about. And I like it because I have Volpe at 17, so I'm not that far off from you. If he's going to bat leadoff in this new Yankee lineup, I really like it. I really like it a lot. And I could see me moving Volpe up in spring training as I see him getting those leadoff at bats. Jason, you're nodding in agreement. Where do you have Volpe?
I don't have Volpe.
What?
Yeah, I don't. 209 batting average, 283 on base, 167 strikeouts over 541 at bats. I can't. The 20 home runs in the 2020 is nice. I feel like there's still the Yankees have some guys if Volpe struggles that they can replace him with. He's a poor man's Ellie De La Cruz to me.
Yeah, I'll take him 10 rounds later.
Yeah, but I already have Ellie De La Cruz further down in my rankings than you guys do. So
yeah.
Listen,
Volpe, 23 doubles, 21 homers, 24 steals. You know, we talked about Willy Adames and his terrible metrics. Volpe also had a 259 BABIP. So even with all those infield hits that Volpe might be able to get because of his speed, he's not getting them because for whatever reason, they're not falling in for him. 229 expected batting average, a 209, a 283 on base percentage. Yeah, all of this is ugly from a dude who still went 2020 in a rookie.
Right.
I'm down for this. Over a couple of dudes coming up, including Carlos Correa. I'll take Volpe in front of Soto and Judge before I take Correa in that lineup.
According to Roster Resource, he's due to hit 8th. They have LeMahieu batting leadoff.
Even so, if he bats 8th or 9th, he's still in front of Soto and Judge. And then he's not getting that 4th at bat to possibly strike out again.
At 167 and 541 at bats, yeah, that's pretty bad. That's all like Kyle Schwarber type numbers.
Jason, who do you have at where are we at? 17?
17 starts my next tier. These are the guys who, like, again, it's a wing and a prayer for me. Yeah, I'm starting off with Michael Garcia. We talked about him on the third base show. You know, he only played 123 games last year, but they were good enough that I'd feel okay with him. There's a sophomore slump possibility that could happen, but I like the Royals this year, so I'd be okay with Michael Garcia.
Okay. Frank, who do you have at 17?
Thairo Estrada.
Ooh, we haven't talked about him, but we did talk about him on the second base show. Go check that one out. He was solid enough for the Giants. I just worry about playing time, as I do with every Giant. So that's my concern. My number 17 was Volpe. Number 18 for me is a guy we haven't talked about yet, Trevor Story, coming back from a injury-riddled season in Boston. Listen, if he can return to form with Devers and Tyler O'Neill hopefully has a bounce back, and I like Tristan Casas, he could be a guy. I'm not saying that I want to go out of my way to draft him, because at this point, we're getting to where I'm drawing the line. I had already drawn the line at starters back at 15, so I'm feeling like this is a backup. If I'm picking from this group and it has to be my starter, I guess I'll go with a healthy Trevor Story. Jason, who do you have at 18?
18 is where I have Ellie De La Cruz.
Wow.
Yeah. Again, like we
hurts.
talked about in third base, I am prepared to be proven wrong, but I just there's so many red flags. Same thing as Volpe, but I kind of like him a little bit better than Volpe, because of the ballpark. But yeah, I just see a ton of strikeouts, some pop, a good amount of speed, but no on base, no average, and I could see the Reds being like, yeah, we have Marte, we have McLean, we have India. Go spend a month down in AAA and see what you can figure out. You know, so yeah, there's too many red flags for me.
All right. Frank, who do you have at 18, my friend?
Ezekiel Tovar.
Colorado shortstop. I'm shocked we haven't heard that name come out of Jason's mouth yet.
I have him at 20.
I also have him at 20, so let's hit him now. What? Because my 19 is Carlos Correa. We already talked about him enough.
Ew.
Yeah. So Ezekiel
Um,
Tovar, what do you know about him down in Colorado, Jason?
Look, 22 years old, and unlike these other rookies that we've talked about, he played a full season last year. 615 plate appearances, 15 home runs, 73 RBIs, and 11 steals. Like, if that's a floor, that's pretty good. Like, maybe he gets better with a year under his belt. I keep saying this. As a team, the Rockies are going to be awful, but there's some players on this team that I think will surprise some people, including Nolan Jones, who we talked about. And this guy's one of them. So I think, this is a guy that can really be, open some eyes and be a future here in Colorado.
37 doubles last year certainly makes me open my eyes and just take notice. That's why he made the top 20. He beat out Adames for me. I like the kid. I think he can put up double-digit homers and steals again, and just be a really solid backup that you plug in when you need him. Half his home games are in Colorado. Play him when he's home.
Yeah.
Play it like you'd play any Rocky. Whatever. Frank, 19 for you, my friend.
19, I have Jeremy Pena.
Houston Astros got to get in on that lineup too. Even if he is going to hit the bottom again, he's going to be in front of guys like Altuve and Bregman and Jordan Alvarez. Like the pick there, Frank. I really do.
263 average. He played 150 games last year. 152 hits, 32 doubles is nice.
That is a nice number.
Yeah, the 10 homers at 52 RBIs is low. Double-digit steals at 13. The strikeout numbers aren't terrible. 129. It's not bad.
No, it's just over 20%, which is better than league average.
I wish you would walk a little better, a little more, but you're not really going to walk that much at that part of the lineup. You're hopefully going to be on base, and these other juggernauts are going to be
percentage. He had a better on base percentage than Willy Adames.
I think anybody has a better anything than Willy Adames.
Tovar didn't. Tovar only walked 25 times and 581 at bats.
Yeah.
But listen, this is all the same. All the same group of guys here. Jason, what do you have at 19?
19, I have CJ Abrams.
Okay. And then 20 for you.
20 is Tovar.
20 is also Tovar for me. Frank, who do you have at 20?
Jordan Lawler.
Arizona Diamondbacks young shortstop. He does love him some young shortstops this year, huh, Frank?
I do.
I hope that he does get the playing time for his sake and the Diamondbacks' sake. But for my Dynasty League team, I need Geraldo Perdomo to be the starting shortstop every day now.
He is going to be the starting shortstop, by the way. Perdomo's going to open the year as the starter. Yeah.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number 21 for me is Willy Adames. Frank, what do you have at 21?
The same. Willy Adames.
All right. Jason, 21?
Something we haven't talked about yet on this show. I have Tommy Edman here.
Okay, I've got him a little bit lower, but he did make my top 25.
Yeah. We talked about him on second base. The speed is what keeps him afloat here. Everything else is kind of weak, but doesn't strike out a lot either, which is good. So
yeah, he doesn't walk, but he doesn't have much power, but the 27 steals is certainly going to play, and his versatility around the field is what really carries him into the top 25 for me. Frank, who do you have at 22?
22, I have Trevor Story.
Talked about him. We talked about my 22 and Jeremy Pena. Jason, 22?
Thairo Estrada.
23, I have a guy we haven't talked about yet, and he didn't play last year in 2023, but you know what? Welcome back, Gavin Lux. Let's see what you've got at shortstop in that Dodgers lineup. Okay. And if you hit ninth, you're in front of Mookie Betts and Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman. So go for it, hit ninth, and give me that guy. 23. Frank, who do you have at 23?
Orlando Arcia.
Oh, he's the Braves shortstop. I have him just a little bit lower. Tell me about the Braves shortstop, Frank.
Last year was an all-star, 264 batting average. Played much better in the first half than he did in the second half. 100 102 strikeouts to 40 walks. Not terrible. 17 homers, 65 RBIs, 66 runs scored. Where you're hitting in the lineup, you should be scoring more, especially hitting in front of Michael Harris and
Mhm.
and the MVP of
The top of the order.
everybody.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, he was injured a little bit. He only had 488 at bats last year, but yeah, I mean, it's as solid can be. I mean,
Yeah, he could be a solid backup
it's
for you.
average. It's average numbers for a shortstop. So
Yeah, he'll be a solid backup for somebody, or somebody who will fill in when somebody else gets injured.
honestly, he's going to be the weakest link in that lineup.
Yeah, probably. But
Yeah.
if that's the worst thing you've got going for you,
Exactly.
you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Jason, what do you have at 23?
I have Pena here.
Pena. Okay, 24 for you, sir.
No, guy we haven't talked about on this show. I have Luis Rengifo.
All right, I like Rengifo. He's gonna hit at the top of the Angels lineup.
Yeah, at first I didn't have him until we talked about him on the second or third base show, whichever one it was. But yeah, why not? Someone's got to score in front of Mike Trout, right? So
Exactly. If he hits, if he can get on base, and if he can steal a couple of bags, he's gonna be totally worth it.
Yeah.
Totally
If
worth
Mike
it.
Trout plays more than 100 games this season,
Listen, let's
that would
hope
be
that he
nice.
does. Let's hope that he
Yeah.
does. I want to see a world where Mike Trout makes the playoffs again.
Amen.
My number
according to
24 is
you guys.
Thyroid. Yes, I agree.
Uh-huh.
My number 24 is Thyroid Estrada. Frank, who do you have at 24?
24, I have JP Crawford.
No love for JP Crawford,
Wow.
really.
I listen, JP Crawford is JP Crawford, but I love the fact that he walks a ton.
Mm-hmm.
That is exactly why the number one reason why he made the top 25.
Okay.
Like, he walks a ton. Like, the guy has an excellent eye. I mean, when he's hot, he's hot. When
He
he's
hits in
not,
front of Julio Rodriguez. I mean, that's a great spot to do too.
Yeah, when he's hot, he's hot. When he's not, there's a lot of dog water.
Oh man,
but
I think he should be ahead of at least Trevor Story and probably Tovar. I think he should be at least. I think he should be a little bit higher than 24, but that's for you to decide, sir. Now, who is your number 25? Let's round this out.
Rengifo.
Okay, my number 25 is Tommy Edman. We talked about him. Jason?
There were a few guys here that I could put here. I really wanted to put Jackson Holliday here, but I couldn't do it yet without a single plate appearance in the major leagues yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I went with Perdomo just because he is going to be the starting shortstop for the Diamondbacks to start the year. But Zach Neto is a guy that I was considering. Even Jorge Mateo. I read that they're gonna be moving him around the diamond a little bit. So like they're trying him in a second base, I think, in center field. So like, if he gains some eligibility, as long as he's still stealing those bases, he's a guy to keep an eye on too.
Mason Wynn in St. Louis is another guy to keep an eye on. I have Jackson Holliday at the next spot. It's 26, and I have his name written down. One more, and this is kind of going to spoil my comebacks, but I'm not going to spoil it. Let's get to sleepers, breakouts, busts, and comebacks, boys. Let's do this thing. Let's start with a sleeper. Frank, who's your sleeper this year?
I mean, honestly, I think my sleeper is going to be Jordan Lawler.
Okay.
Yep.
Good choice. If he gets the job in Arizona out the gate, or at some point early on in the season, he could certainly run away with it. I'm going to go with Ezekiel Tovar. I think what we saw last year was just the tip of the iceberg, and I think we could see a really big step forward from this kid this year. Love playing dudes that play in Colorado, so I'm going to go ahead and probably grab him as my backup shortstop. Jason, what about your sleeper?
I'm going to go with a guy we didn't talk about, Marco Luciano of the Giants. Brandon Crawford is gone, and I don't think there's a reason not to play this kid as long as he's performing well. And he showed well in a cup of coffee last year, so I think he's the shortstop of the future. let's see what he can do.
Yeah. Let's see what this new kid can do out in San Francisco. I don't have him in the top 25, but I will be paying attention to him in spring training.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the breakout. I'm going to take Jackson Holiday here and just say, you know what? Maybe this kid's on the roster just like they did with Adley early on in the 2021 and just like they did with Gunnar last year. Bring this kid up, start him at shortstop or second base, and get his bat in this lineup. Put him down for a breakout season for me.
Yeah.
Frank, what do you got for a breakout, my friend?
Ellie De La Cruz. I think he's going to have the hell of a season.
EDLC for Frank on the breakout. I love
Yep.
it. I love it. I had him at third base as my breakout. Otherwise, I would have picked him here as well.
Right.
Jason, what do you got for a breakout?
I'm gonna go with Tovar for exactly the same reason, but I have him more of as a breakout than a sleeper because I think he's already kind of pierced that category. He played 153 games last year, so he he played a full season. I'm expecting bigger things. Give me a 2020 season from him, and that'd be a nice big breakout for him.
I'd love a 2020 season out of that guy. What's his current ADP at Yahoo?
Oh, let's see.
I'm gonna guess 250 or greater.
He is at 197.
Okay. All right. So right around 200. That's still plenty deep enough in the draft to make him a backup. But it's a nice one. It's a nice one.
Yeah.
Jason, we'll start with you on this one. Who is your bust this year at the position?
Well, I guess I can't pick De La Cruz since I picked him for third base, huh? Let's go with.
You can't pick Albies either because you picked him for second base. You jerk.
Love you, Frank.
Sorry.
I guess it's got to be Correa, right? So I have him at 9. I could see a case where he falls to 35. So I'll give him the bust.
Frank, are you going to follow suit and say Carlos Correa here?
You're damn right I'm following suit and saying Carlos Correa. Like bust upon bust upon bust upon bust upon trash bag upon bust. Like it's just that bad.
I'm going to take Dansby Swanson here. I think he had a down year last year.
Not bad either.
Yeah, I don't know that he's going to ever put up the numbers we saw in his final year in Atlanta because he's not going to have the good lineup around him. So I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that with a 10-foot pole this year. No thanks. Out on Swanson. My comeback player at this position, why not Javi Baez? Why not Javi Baez for like a 20 homer, 15 steal season on a Detroit team that takes a step forward? Like, come on, dude.
I'm a fan of that.
There's some life in you.
I'm a fan of that.
And you didn't just sign this contract and stop playing.
I do feel like people forget that he still exists.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like people forget that he was in the MVP voting a couple years back.
Yeah. It was 2019. he was second in MVP voting. It was insane. So show me that there's something left in that tank. Jason, who do you got for a comeback player?
I have a lot of options here.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Can Correa be my bust and my bounce back? No, I guess I'm going with O'Neal Cruz here because we didn't really see him at all last year. But I think there's enough in that bat. He's young enough where he can make some real waves in a Pittsburgh team that doesn't really have any expectations. So give me O'Neal Cruz on a bounce back.
Okay. Frank, wind us up here. Who you got at your bounce back?
I have 3 players that I want to choose because it's really hard to choose between the 3 of them to pick one. So I'm going to give you all 3 of them. Okay. It's going to be O'Neal Cruz, number 1. The second one's going to be Trevor Story. And the third one, you're probably going to ban me from this podcast after this one, but Adalberto Mondesi.
Okay. If
I really feel like he's got a job with the Royals.
He is currently a free agent.
Yeah.
I thought he was on the Royals.
Nope.
I thought the Royals signed him again.
Nope.
Not yet. Not yet.
Well,
he may bounce to AAA.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, he's still a free agent.
Well, if he signs with the team, I'm going with it.
I hear you. And if he gets a major league job and is able to do more than Billy Hamilton things, I'm totally down for that. Listen, I picked him up in the Dynasty League because I'm hoping for a prayer that he gets that job. So,
Right.
I mean, there certainly are teams that could use his skill set if he can ever actually
Agreed.
if he
stay
can
on the
just
field.
stay healthy, I think his knees have abandoned him at this point, and that certainly sucks for a guy who needs his legs.
And he was only what, like 25? Like,
Yeah. How old is Adalberto Mondesi? 28.
28.
He's 28
Okay.
right now.
Yeah.
This is when he's supposed to be the best. Like, just
Right.
show us that there's anything in that
This is when
body.
he's supposed to actually play.
Yeah. Frank, thanks so much for being here tonight, man. We really appreciate you.
You're welcome. I love it. Wanted to do it, and glad we got the opportunity to do so. And yeah.
We are less than a month away from the draft, Jason Ashby. Are you excited?
I am pumped. I'm ready to go. Like the next month is gonna go so slow for me because I'm so anxiously awaiting, but it's gonna be a blast. I can't wait.
Guys, thank you all for listening and watching. And if you want to come on one of these shows, just like Frank, just like Jason, all you got to do is send me a list of guys and we'll be talking about them in order, just like this. You don't have to have a shit ton of research done. Just bring us a list and tell us why you have it in that order. Thank you guys again for watching. Until next time, it's been real, it's been fun, and it is always real fun in the bigs. We'll see you next time.